this to start the video. I was redoing the video where I review the fight. Jake's just retired from boxing. Supposedly. How can you retire 4 fights in when you've never won a title? Fight Canelo Alvarez. What, is that going to be an exhibition? Oh, exhibition where you have to fight Jake Paul because he's achieved so much in boxing. Canelo, because everyone in life, you know, like, wants to have an exhibition with the retired old Jake Paul, who achieved so much in boxing. It's a publicity stunt, ladies and gentlemen, if you hadn't noticed. Or at least, while he's on vacation, he just wants to cause fuss, because he knows that in his vacation he won't be talked about, so he's caused a little bit of fuss for us, for people to go over. Or he's generally retired from boxing because he took such a hard right hand from Woodley, it sent him crying. Or Tommy Fury's just too much of a step up, and he knows what will happen unless he pays him off. So, yeah. Other than that, enjoy the review of the fight. I actually thought, you know, gave Jake a little bit of credit despite a few things he needs to improve on, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy Jake Paul retirement day, because he looks like his gas tank was like an old man in that fight, so I suppose there is some realities that he's faced, so yeah. You could improve the gas tank at 24, Jake. You don't have to retire, but you know. Let's get right into the video. Right, guys, thought I'd do another a revamp of my review on the fight, because I was tired I'm tired now, but I was tired when I was doing it and wasn't thinking, and I just rambled on. I've had time to reanalyse the fight in my head. I've watched videos and everything, and let me tell you my opinion. First of all, great pay-per-view, great night. I really enjoyed watching the pay-per-view. I'm disappointed in Tommy, really, as we all expected him to go out there and, you know, knock out Anthony Taylor, a man who can't box, who's, what, 5'6½". He was saying, oh, I'm 5'7", I'm 5'7". He's not even 5'7". Why is Tommy... Tommy must have been lured into this fight by somebody. Like, it didn't seem right. Tommy, he's this big guy and he's knows how to box. Jake put him on the undercard. I'm gonna have to look at that, because who made that fight? Because it seemed like it was set up. Anyway, it didn't go up to a bad start. It went to a bad start and a bad finish. It was underwhelming from Tommy, and he knows that. He admitted that, and he'll go back and hopefully train hard. Like, he made loads of promises. That's the thing, there's a lot of promises that night that weren't fulfilled by lots of fighters, a few fighters on the card. I think Daniel Dubois he was very calm and composed and calculated in his press conferences. Not in a bad way, but like, to the point where he delivered on the night. He was the only one. Like, Amanda Serrano, him, and Montana Love were probably the only people you could say who delivered on the night, really. Tommy didn't, and Jake Paul, there's a few issues there as well. He said he was going to knock people out, but it didn't happen. I look at that, and I think to myself about the fight... yeah, Tommy should have won. He should have won that. Well, he did win. Sorry, but he should have knocked the. He should have knocked Anthony Taylor out. Anthony Taylor grabbed him a lot. He did, but there was a lot of openings that Tommy should have exploited. Really, he was slow, a bit lethargic. So he needs, and that's been the issue. Tommy, he's had a few fights where you think he'd knock. Like the last fight, you'd think he'd knock someone out, he didn't. So Tommy needs to go back and, you know, go back and train a bit more. You know, all fighters have a bad night, I suppose. So, you know, the win's a win at the end of the day. He got the win under the belt. He goes and he learns from his mistakes because boxing's a learning game. Then we go on to the Amanda Serrano, not the Amanda Serrano. That fight, Montana Love versus Ivan Baranchik. Ivan Baranchik, brawler, brawled in the ring. He goes there for a scrap. He gave the scrap. Montana Love responded well. It was a bit relaxed, really, but he responded well and countered him very well. And he rocked. They both rocked each other a few times. But Montana, I liked his defence. He was pretty clever. I know it looked like he was against the ring, but there was something to it, and he got out the corners really well. Jake can learn from that. He got out the corners really well and struck him, and he got the W in the end in round 7. My mate predicted that, so well done, Jamie. And then I'm really tired, so that's why I sound a bit quiet. And then you've got Amanda Serrano, wonderful fight. Her opponent gave her a women's boxing's on the rise, by the way, but the opponent gave her a pretty good test. But Amanda Serrano, she's on another level, and she's gonna go down as one of the best female fighters. She's in featherweight division. She was really good, and she's one of my favourite female fighters. So after that, you had Daniel Debra. You know what I think about that. He did get hit every time he threw, but he threw with power, and he reminded me of Lennox Lewis a little bit. Great first round knockout. On to the next one. Daniel Debra, one of the only men that delivered. Then, the main event. Awful gas tank replica of Logan Paul. Jake Paul fought. Jake Paul, yes, there was a lot of things he did well. He landed a couple of good combos. Tyron Woodley, what did he do? He did a few things that night. He landed more, like, meaningful shots, let's say. Not that Jake didn't land meaningful shots, but... and he definitely outpointed Tyron just. I think it was definitely could have been a draw. It definitely could have been scored a draw, but I think Jake just got the win. And it's good that Jake's found his opponent that can match him, because, you know, the rematch makes perfect sense now, and the rematch is definitely the right thing to do, in my opinion. I don't think he's ready for Tommy yet, although Tommy did have a disappointing performance, so... I think whoever wins that fight should fight Tommy. But, yeah, in the rematch, I mean. I hate this tattoo business. Just get the bloody fight on the cards, please. We want to see the rematch. Jake Paul's stamina failed him. You know, Woodley's feet were a bit flat-footed, but Jake Paul's stamina, you could tell he was tired after the 4th bloody round, and Woodley got a few rounds back at him. Jake Paul, also, you know, his lead hand was always down. You know, he could have easily been popped. Tyron, it just showed how cautious he was, because he you know, he didn't pop at Jake, did he? And he leant back, and Tyron could have easily won that. I mean, and there's a lot of potential in boxing for Tyron. I know that you know he's 39 and whatever, but there's a lot of things there for Tyron, but he just didn't capitalise on them. Too patient, and I know that you know he was a bit worried that Jake might land a good shot on him, because he said in the press conference about Nate Robinson and how Nate went forward like what Tyron did in his last MMA fight, and he got, of course, overhand right. Jake's really good at that, and he loves his overhand rights and lefts, doesn't he? Jake Paul, that's his signature move in boxing. the overhand, and he landed a good overhand on Tyron. That was the only shot that rocked Tyron. And Tyron's got a chin, but Jake also proved that he had a chin because he got knocked into the ropes, and you know, yeah, he, whether it's a knockdown or not, if the ropes weren't there, yeah, it would have been a knockdown. But people overlook the fact that if he fell, he would have got straight back up. Did you see his face? He took the shot well. He was a bit worried. It scared him, but he took it well, and he felt the adrenaline pump after that. But it's just, you know, for him, a shame that his adrenaline didn't go because he was tired. In 5th, 6th round, he was tired, but he still went through and showed heart, and you know, that's where you have to show a bit of respect, at least a little bit of respect for Jake, because, you know, he did beat the welterweight, the 5th best welterweight of all time, top 5 welterweight of all time in UFC. It's a different, MMA and boxing is a different ball game, by the way. The striking's not the same as much as people like to compare it. It's not. I've always said this. I said this in the last bloody video I did. But yeah, still, Tyron showed great. Every time he struck, he hit Jake. Well, he missed once or twice, but every time he, you know, went out and he wasn't cautious, which was very rare in a fight, he hit Jake. That's why a lot of people say that he got the draw, and he was very close to getting the draw. That's my opinion, which is why Jake has a lot to improve on. He needs, first of all, to have the lead hand up, improve on his guard massively. He also needs to stop whatever his diet's doing, because he was tired, like, on the big... and there's loads of sparring that can make it, like, Vidal said this in his video, and it opened my eyes a little. There's only so much sparring you can do, but it's not the same as fighting, and when the big lights are on you, you soon feel the adrenaline dump, and that's what happened to Jake, and it was kind of like what happened to Logan in Manchester Arena. There is a few, you know, I heard from somewhere, like Tyron was calling it, that they didn't get tested. If that's so, that's disgusting. But I don't want to get into that, but there is a few signs, and if you look up the symptoms, everything, that Jake might be on something. But I'm not going to say any more on that, because there's, as I say, I've not got a sample of his piss, have I? But yeah, you know, it is what it is. I think Jake won the fight just very close, extremely close, and this is why I want to see the rematch. I don't want to see Tommy versus Jake yet, as much as I want to see Jake get flattened. It's not. I don't think it's going to happen yet. Jake, yeah, there's a lot of improvement from both fighters, and both fighters are on the same level. And if Tyron gets taught right, and he gets out the habit of, let's stay cautious and let the other fighter lead, like Jake had centre of the ring and everything a lot of the time, although Tyron instantly got centre, but after a few seconds of the first round, you soon saw Jake took control of the fight, which he likes to do in the UFC as well. If you've not noticed, Tyron, he likes to let the other man lead. He can't do that. He has to have this balance of letting the hands go, which he could have. Every time Jake dropped the guard, his lead hand, he could have popped him. But no, he didn't capitalise on that. Although Jake did show a little bit of head movement, I must admit, especially when they were in the clinch. But yeah, although my adrenaline was pumping while watching, because of how well the fight was built up, it didn't really live to expectation, but it was still a good night overall, and it was an okay fight. There's still that quality of edge that Jake needs to improve. You know, he needs to improve, and so does Woodley, and that's what makes the rematch so interesting, because we will see the improvement, and we will see what will happen in the rematch, and Both fighters are capable of beating each other. Tyron was definitely capable of beating Jake that night, and Jake was definitely capable of beating Tyron. But there's a few things Tyron could have done better, and a few things Jake knows he could have done better and admitted, actually. What my opinion is, get all these bloody tattoo things and press conference. Just have the second rematch, and then we'll have it decided, won't we? Who's the better boxer? Jake's going to go on a 6-month vacation, apparently, or something like that. People are just going to catch up on you, mate. It's not done. And you barely scraped a victory, lad. I think you need, if you want respect and you want people to take you as a real boxer, you have got to beat Tyron in the rematch. And same to Tyron. You want to go down in history, there's no better way than to beat Jake Paul. So, yeah. KSI has got, I don't know by coincidence or whether, he predicted this. If Jake goes on that vacation, game over, because, well, not game over, but he's going to get a good 6 months on Jake, because, let me explain. You think about it, right? KSI will get 6 months on Jake. That's a good 6 months, isn't it? While he rests in the vacation. When he said the long game, he's planning. He might have meant that. It would be a big mistake for Jake to go on vacation, especially when Tommy Fury will be training after a week after his fight. So, yeah, that's my take on it anyway. I hope you enjoyed the video. Much better review. I was tired earlier. Just woke up and after watching it bloody very late. And yeah, I've got my opinions together now, and that's what I thought. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.